Thank you so much, Giovanna, today. Oh no, I won't start with that. That's too boring. Hello, welcome to One of Nine. We've come to the north and we thought, let's get some lovely northern families from England. So we found Giovanna from Italy. How is it in the north? Because you were in London as well.
Yes.
What's it like for you in the north?
I love it. I feel much more at home in the north than in the south.
Yeah. And what part of Italy are you from? North or south?
North of Italy. Near Venice.
Is there a north-south divide in Italy as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. Probably stronger than in England.
Really?
Italy, we have even such a strong accent in the south and in the north that we can struggle to understand each other's. Also because there are a lot of different dialects.
And this is our fourth take of starting, because as soon as, like any mums out there listening, or dads, you know, you pick up the phone to make a phone call and everyone needs you. Oh, sorry. So did you at least marry a northern English husband?
No.
Also from Italy?
Yes. He's a little bit south than me, from Bologna.
Yeah.
So like more north centre of Italy. Yeah.
So can you understand each other?
Yeah.
Just about.
But if I speak in my dialect with my mum, he can't understand it.
So Giovanna is married to Luca and they have two lovely girls, 8 and 2.
Yes. Yeah.
Almost 3. And where did you meet Luca?
I met him at university. When I didn't want it, a boyfriend, was very happy with myself. But he arrived and some lovely friends helped me to realise that, he was the right person for me. But I have to wait 8 years to marry him, even if I asked him at the first time I met him, basically.
So why the wait?
Because I was just at the beginning of my university, so
Lots of studying.
Yeah.
And you've done?
Yes.
1 degree, 2
degree, a PhD. Yeah. And I have to say I'm very grateful to Luca because he was the one that always supported me even when it was very hard. I mean, it was only a year that we were together and I won this bursary to go to Durham University for a year. So at that time you didn't have a low cost travelling, so we knew it that we were apart nearly for a year. But he said, no, go on. Actually, he helped me with all the documents, all the translation.
So was he learning English as well?
Yeah, but his English was much better than mine. But he's not dyslexic like me, so it was easier for him to learn.
So you're dyslexic and then came to England and did some degrees in England as well?
Yeah. The Erasmus project, you do several exams in the university, but your degree is still an Italian degree. But my PhD was in England too, and it was an international PhD between England and Italy.
So when you got married?
Yeah, I got married
in England or maybe in Italy?
In Italy.
Yeah,
in 2006. At that time, I remember that we didn't have much money. I said to my mum, Mummy, I just need to have a master. And my mum's has a big field in her house, so we can just buy some pizza and pizza there. And my mum was, no, absolutely not. So I said, Mummy, that is what I can afford with the money that I have. I said, don't worry, we will help you with that. So they really helped us to have a proper wedding in a nice restaurant and with some guests. It was lovely, I have to say.
Was it still quite traditional in Italy to have big families? What's it like now?
Yeah. It is quite traditional. It started to change. There are more like a civil celebration than like a church and Catholic celebration, but a lot of still very traditional in that sense.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I am the oldest. I have a younger sister and a younger brother. I'm very grateful to them because they're looking after my mom. I think I can stay in England because I know that I have two good brothers and a sister that look after her, look after my mom.
Were you brought up in the faith? Was it like normal for you to?
Thank you. My region is a very Catholic place. We like to call it the room of the priest in Italy, like our region. Even if you're not Catholic, you breathe, There are the bells, all the groups are Catholic.
Did you go to Catholic schools in Italy?
Yeah, I went. My nursery and primary school was a convent where I met
taught by nuns?
Yes. I have to say I've been very lucky in my life because all the nuns and priests that I met, they were extraordinary. Actually, the convent there was a convent that was founded by, locally. It's called Le Suore Bianche, the white nun, because their dress was white. My parents, they were not practicing much, but they were allowing us to be part of the parish, to be part of the Catholic environment. So, they were very busy in building their own house, their own company. There weren't any space for having a holiday, and I was living in front of these beautiful mountains, and it was a pity not being able to go there. But the priest said, come on, we will have 3 days exploring the mountains. And when I was asking to my parents, they say, no, yes, you can go. So there was, and the singing, I was always loving music, but none of my relatives could read music, could play anything. And the priest said, join the choir. And I remember writing, I will start singing for him. And I joined the choir. I was the only one that was 9 years old, with all the rest that were like 60, 70, 80. And I remember them, they were so affectionate to me that once a year, all the choir was going to this theme park just for me, because I was the only child in this group.
And so then you never fell away from the faith?
No, never. In high school, I met the movement, the communion and liberation. And again, I met it in a very simple way. My parish that year didn't organize the holiday on the mountain. And I was desperate to have a few days where we could sing and walk and explore and pray together. So, and I remember that I have in my class one of the girls that nobody liked her. And she invited me to go to a small holiday with a priest. And I thought, I don't have any alternative, I can go. So I went home and said, Mom, can I go to this small holiday, 3 days in this mountain with Don Guido? And my mom said, yeah, it's okay. And there I found a way also to present the Catholic faith in a way that was even more beautiful for me. The way that these people were talking and living their faith. I think at that time, I was a teenager, so a time when you need to find your identity. And I remember that this identity to be a very hard worker, confined with your own project, was a little bit too small for me. These needed to explore, to go and see the mountain. These people that were exploring the faith in a lot of different ways, through the literature, through the music, through the art. Everything was completely new for me, and I love it. It was literally growing, not only in the faith, but also finding what I really liked. When I was in high school, I studied philosophy, and literally that was my biggest passion. Wanted to know why, wanted to know what is the truth. I had this massive question when I was a teenager, and the approach of Luigi Giussani, that is the founder of Communion Liberation, was starting definitely from this big question. My dad, and I think the biggest gift he gave me, it was when he was 9, he wanted me, and we didn't have a particularly close relationship, but he wanted me, and I think because he knew that in facing the death, he knew it that I had my faith could help him, but I think he was working all the time. He was ill all his life, even neglecting his illness, to forget this massive question, who am I? What is my destiny? I think I got that question from him, but he never explored something outside his own strength until literally at the last day when I could see that, he wanted me. For the first time, probably, he realized that his own strength, his own ability. He was an incredibly clever man. It wasn't enough. And my mum, she's religious. It's a little bit hit and miss for her. There are moments in which her faith is much stronger, other moments in which she's more forgetful. Again, I think, why me? I don't know. I think I was both they were ill. My dad has a very strong and difficult diabetes. He lost his vision, he lost part of his legs, so it was hard. And my mum had a liver cancer. She needed a liver transplant. I think, seeing them in such pain and always not knowing if I could see them the day after, I couldn't cope without faith. And the relationship with them was very, very difficult. To cope with that pain, I just needed someone stronger and bigger, like God. For them, they have such a strong love for me, much later in life. And even if we never spoke about it, I'm sure that is because in face of such horrendous illnesses, I could cope, I could, and not because I'm strong, it's just because I was giving them in God's hands. When we went to the hospital for my mum, I pretended to be I was just at the beginning of my PhD, and literally I pretended to be a very knowledgeable, very, just because in front of me there were a professor, immediately I knew that he was like a very academic. Probably I was or even started my PhD, and this professor was finding me very interested in what I was studying, and you could see my mom say, okay, I'm in good hand now. Even if I was very insecure, full of fear and feeling completely, unable to hold the situation. And again, it wasn't me. It was because God was saying, there is a good reason for this, for this pain. I like to think I was the boat that break the eye. So I was breaking the eye, but my brother and sister were pushing me forwards.
And what was your prayer life like in your young sort of 20s and moving through there?
Yeah. My prayers, you mean? But since I met the movement, we have the daily prayer, and I use that. But if I have to say something quicker, I always say the Veni Sancte Spiritus. They say Veni Sancte Spiritus, Veni per Mariam. Come, Holy Spirit, come through the Virgin Mary. Please, God, come into my life in a concrete way, and asking the Virgin Mary to help that. So the idea is, as the Virgin Mary said, yes, I do. For me, being able to say I do every day to Christ or to God.
Delle belle turbando al riposo, narcisettuatoncino d'amor. Delle belle turbando al riposo, narcisettuatoncino d'amor.
It was called Giovanna, but it's a very common name in my city because there is a blessed Giovanna in my name. That was a nun that is blessed. She's buried in a small church in the city centre. That is quite a traditional name to give to
in your town.
Yes.
You and Luca got married and you moved to England.
Yeah.
And
we moved to England because what happened was I was finishing my PhD, and the last year was in England, and he was with me. He took a sabbatic year, so he was able to stay in England with me for that year. At the end of that year, I said, we have to come back. I don't have a job in Italy, and it would be probably difficult for me to find a job. He wasn't too happy with the job that he had. So I said to him, maybe just try. Just do a couple of applications. If God wants us in England, you will have that job. If not, we will go back in Italy. And we had our lovely little house in Italy. So Luca made 2 applications and they offered him a position. And for someone like Luca that never did an interview, never did, we thought, oh, that is a strong sign. He's still in that position.
We have these little ideas in our heads, obviously, when we're going to get married, or maybe just things that we take for granted. Next thing maybe comes a baby.
Yeah. When we were together, I always was preparing Luke and say, look, I want to have at least 5 children, but it wasn't so easy for us. Our first daughter took a while to come, and it for us was very painful because all our friends around there were having children, so easily, and it wasn't like for us. At a certain point, we needed to face that kind of difficulty. So our friends, Alison, suggested us fertility clinic. But the reason was because when we went to the GP, they straight refer us IVF. And that for us was very painful because, we never thought about that. We didn't want that as a solution, but that was the only solution that was given to us. Despite, him being a biologist, me being a psychologist, going through and literally really know better how our body works. And in fact, Maria didn't take long to arrive after that. A lot of prayer.
Because they treat you,
Yeah.
they treat you and work out if there's any imbalances in those.
Yeah. It was, and it wasn't. But actually, for me, look, it wasn't a health problem stopping. It was, in a sense, we are also more calm. It was less medicalized, and also we were praying more. We asked to Saint Bakita to look after us, so Maria arrived. But then 2 years later, when we tried again to have a second child, there was the story was different.
And before you go into that, would you tell us a bit more about Saint Bakita?
Actually, Saint Bakita is a Canossian nun. And when I did my first communion, the nun in my parish gave me a book about her, but I couldn't remember actually because I was quite too little. But when I was in one of the lowest time of my life, because the children were not arrived, I found this little book in a library in Liverpool, and I started to read it to realise that
that book was Saint Bakita.
Yes. To realise that saint was born not far from my family lived, and actually my grandmother was alive when Santa Bakita was alive. The story was so beautiful. She was kidnapped when she was 6 or 7, treated as a slave for numerous years. Until she found the Catholic Church. She gave me a lot of hope because she was a person that, despite nothing went as she was planning in her life, and she was treated really brutally, she found peace. She found herself with the relationship with God. So that was what I was asking, even if the family that I planned is not going to happen, I want to be happy. I want to feel free. I want to be, to have a life full, even if it's not my project. So she was she inspired me and Luca. So when we had a chance, we went to Italy. We went to Schio, where she's buried, and we prayed, to understand what was God wanted for us, and say, look, we want a child, but if it's not what God wants, let us able to accept that. And months later, Maria's arrived, so we call her Maria Bakita. Here we are. Oh, you want me? You want me? Yeah. And then we. Oh, dear me. Oh, dear me. Oh, you are chatting. I think it's your turn now. Again, we started with the illusion that having the second was easier because we had one, so the second will be easier. Now the body is ready. We know everything. But the second wasn't arriving. And again, we asked for the support of the clinic. We were doing everything, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, but you have already, Maria. Just give up. Be happy with." And and if in one sense it was right on here that I couldn't stop that desire. It was there. It was very painful. At the point that, at a certain point, I thought, oh my goodness, it is an obsession now. It's one of my best friends got pregnant, and I was happy for her, but I also was sad for myself. And she was angry at me, saying, "But you're not happy for me." I said, "Yes, but I have this pain. I wish the same, and it's not happening." So I was not insisting, but that desire, I couldn't ignore that desire. I couldn't put it on peace. I pushed more. And in the end, because I was pushing, someone decided to do a much thorough examination on Luca, and we found out that he had a testicular cancer, a very aggressive testicular cancer. It was a big shock. For me, it was kind of a slap in the face. Stop this desire. But that desire didn't go away. And I remember one day I said to the doctor, thank you, we now can cure Luca, we can save him, but yeah, I would just want to take this desire and put it in the bin. Why am I still desiring? I hate this desire. And the doctor said to me, but Giovanna, can you not see that this desire, this need, has made us able to save your husband? Without this desire, we couldn't save him. And from that day, I start to look at that pain in a different way, thinking, gosh, it's true. That desire to have a family, it was true. It was, part of my destiny. But it's not a family that I have in mind. It's the family that God has in mind for me. And He's telling me, you have a husband. Don't take this for guarantee. So from that day, I think, the gift was waking up every morning, say, thank you, I have a husband. I could forget that very easily, but I don't now. That painful desire saved the life of my husband. Actually, and to give me a confirmation of that, 3 months later, a second cancer was given to Luca. He had a nasty cancer in between the intestine and the pancreas. He had a surgery of 12 hours. And again, I would say, okay, yes. That is my vocation, This is not having 5 children, is go through this with my husband. And it was that when I made the promise, God, if you give me the grace to keep living my life with my husband, I will build you a grotto to say thank you every day. It's beautiful because that really transformed my relationship with Luca. That was always, I like to think that Luca is my angel, the one that has brought me and maintained my faith in his very gentle and beautiful heart. See him every day as a gift. I don't know, for me it's extraordinary. I couldn't see this in my parents' relationship, and often I don't see this in my friends. But for me, Luca, and you have met him, he's very gentle, he's very quiet, he's not, but he's the strongest, he's definitely the strongest, and actually, even in his body, the scars remind us, that really God has wanted him here. As much he wants me, but for him, he really wanted here. For me, for our children. That desire didn't go away, so so I say, right, okay, I'm grateful for my husband, I'm grateful for my daughter, but I think there is a space, and to be honest, the adoption didn't start immediately. First because Nick needed to recover, but also because it was clear in my mind that I didn't want a child to replace some empty space. I wanted a child if I had some extra love to give. And when Luca felt a bit better, and when that desire became different, to feeling such a grace in our family that we wanted to share with someone else, that was the moment for me to say to Luca, I think I'm ready to open the door of our house to another child. And Luca, no.
He wasn't sure what he might have to go through again.
He wasn't sure. The one in the family that has the initiative is me. The one that maintained that initiative is Luca. So I start, and he carry on. So Luca initially say no, and for me it was quite painful. But I said, okay, if it's the right answer, I will be fine. If not, I will come back. And actually, I started to come back, At a certain point, I said to Luca, look, I read all the criteria. One of the first is the health, okay? You had 2 cancer. I think they will tell us that we are not suitable because, there are some health issues. So just try. You know, I'm nearly 100% sure that we are not going through that.
So knock us off the first hurdle.
We are not going to pass the first stage. We started, miraculously, as I say, while I was saying, okay, but maybe he was right, he started to become more and more convinced that was the right thing. We choose a form of adoption that it was quite new from the charity that we use, that basically, again, the question was, if God wants this for us, He will give us some sign. If it's not, He will give other signs. So we decided to offer to foster a child initially until all the court process was going on. So the court could decide if the child could come back to a relative, come back to the original parents, or being adopted by us. So it was we took the risk, you know, to foster a child for nearly a year and then to bring him back to the family. We started all the process. Some sign that there was the right way kind of started quite immediately, because a family in our parish, when we told them that we were doing that, they were kind of shocked, and they say, we really would like to do the same, but we never had the courage. And it was lovely, because at the beginning we were trying to explain this fostering and then the possible adoption, and he said, no, we are not going to do that at all. If whatever we'll decide, he will go straight for the adoption. Okay, so then little Rose arrived one day with her beautiful brown chocolate eye. They told us a little bit of the story. That was heartbreaking for us. When they introduced us, we said, okay, our life has to change now, because there were some element of risk initially that we needed to take in account. She was in fostering family for several months, and she was observing what was going on around. And I remember that at the beginning, she was absolutely in love with Luca. And you could see Luca that it was, even now, I saw him happy the day of his wedding and the day that Maria was born. But it was nearly flying the day that summer arrived. The journey that he did, it was probably much more intense and deep than my journey. You know, because for him it was literally accepting my will and God's will. She was with us for 4 months as a foster. We met her mum.
How was that?
Meeting her mum was, I mean, that is again, is it? Yes. Yeah? Oh, yes. I have to say, it was like our heart was expanding, because the story is very sad and scary, but I'm immensely grateful to this woman, because she has done all sorts of bad things, you know, but she did one thing. She gave birth to my little girl, you know, and that, you know, I'm sure when she will knock on the heaven, St. Peter will say, oh, you're safe because you gave birth to this little child, you know. And the gratitude towards, you know, someone that if you read all the things that she had done, you think, but loving someone so freely and so deeply, you know, for just one thing, it's a big surprise. I'm really grateful, and I have to say, I pray for her every day. I will be always grateful to her, even if we will have to face some of the choices that she made during pregnancy. But she gave the life to her. And also she allowed her to be adopted, you know. Not straightforwardly, but she gave us a chance to love her daughter.
And this is something that's not common, is it? That people, there seems to be this horrible question that people ask themselves in a surprise pregnancy, that are they going to continue the pregnancy? It's not common that people think the baby can be put up for adoption.
When we met her, it was, you could see that, in a sense, she said, okay, they're good for her, I can leave her with them. There is this beautiful moment in which she wanted to hug her little girl, but little Rose didn't want it. So I offered to hug her with little Rose. And literally, you think, oh gosh, I could adopt mum too. You know.
You had a special hug with mum.
Yes.
What was it like when you first met Summer?
So I became more comfortable during really the training that we have done.
In the training,
yeah. But when I met Summer, it was, she was fantastic. She was beautiful. She sit in my lap. She was watching us, wondering who are those two people here. Isn't she? Isn't you?
Yeah.
Now look at you. And you say, yeah.
And
Now she's bossing me out.
Like all the women in the house.
Yeah.
Poor daddy.
So did you have that feeling, any that overwhelming feeling, or was there any reserve? You thinking, I'm not sure when you first met her?
No, I was surprised. No, I was never think she may not for us. No. Or tell you give her back and choose another one because it's up to you. No, I would say no. I would stick with that anyway, in any case. But I'm in love with that now.
Yeah.
I totally was surprised about that.
A surprise at how much you were falling in love?
Yes, absolutely. We are growing our relationship. We've grown a lot.
Absolutely.
And in a way, for us, we just coming out for the lockdown, and being almost 2 years all together in the same house, in lockdown for us was a positive aspect in a way, really feeling as a unity as a family. So yeah. You kind of blossom really in this last year. As a paradox, in the context of adoption, in a way, it could be a more equal possibility because, when you got born as a mother from the womb, it just goes straight. And here, it's a fresh start for both sides. So, in a way, there is a more equal possibility in this case, if you think about it. Keep your heart open, let keep the possibility open. A miracle will happen. I cannot generally say will be easy. They may be tough. There may be a lot of things or conditions from what happened to the child. But there are as well a lot of possible gifts and things coming out in the relationship for you from her.
So maybe you felt the hand of God in it and with the surprise that has come.
Yes, absolutely.
Non più avrai questi bei panacchini, quel cappello leggero galante, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante, quel vermiglio d'onesco color, quel vermiglio d'onesco color. Non più avrai quei panacchini, quel cappello, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante.
I think there are lots of people that when they know that you have adopted a child, they get quite moved. Family, they give us a present, dress, even if we don't need, but they want to be part of this. Adopting a child and welcoming a child.
They want to love as well.
Yeah.
So as a clinical psychologist and then adopting, you obviously had some expectations maybe, or maybe do you think you even knew more than what other people might realise of what the implications and challenges would be?
It would be probably harder in the sense that I knew the impact of a traumatic early life experience. In my job, often I see young people that they're being neglected, they're being traumatized. I knew that it was very painful and very difficult for the parents. So so probably make the decision harder. But on the other side, as I said, I was so grateful to have a family, to have a relationship, to have a daughter that we needed to share that beauty in life.
And how your faith helped?
It helped because, there is a limitation on what the human being can do, in a sense that you can be the most nurturing and caring mom, but you're not the whole world for your child. And so knowing that there is God that can give much more to my child, and also to be not alone in this process, being part of community, being part of a church, and my own relationship with God. It is a big help. I think, be certain to be loved by my community, by my husband, by my friend, by God. That gave me the strength to be able to love someone else. And also, I think there is this big question, why the pain in such innocent children? This is a very, very difficult question that probably we are not able to reply. But again, seeing this painful story and the impact that the painful story on the child, this hope that the pain is not, it doesn't have any meaning. The pain has a meaning that maybe I can't understand now, but there is a deep meaning. I certainly, thinking already, how I can be grateful to a complete stranger, how I can be so grateful for having a child that I didn't carry for 9 months, how I can. One day a mom asked me, do you love your biological child and your adopted child differently? I said, no, that doesn't even cross my mind that it could be different, Yeah, even discovering that it is a gift. As my biological daughter has been given as a gift, my adoptive daughter has been given to me as a gift. And also God is asking me to not be scared of the pain, to not be, that there is, because she has been given to me, we can hold that pain, we can hold all the vulnerabilities connected with that and find and discovering together what is behind. And behind there is something good, I think what is more evident as a Catholic, that behind the most horrendous story, there is something good. And that is what I'm discovering every day with my little one.
And there's a lot of talk of attachment with children that have had trauma, particularly in their early life. How have you found a way to try or do you have ideas of how you can try and heal some of that for your daughter?
I like to think there is a parallel between the attachment of a human being and the attachment that we have with God. And in fact, we talk a lot of the presence of God. Someone that feel God present in your life, or that is with you all the time, to comfort you, to give you the sign for where is the good life to live. So in a parallel, a good attachment is something that is not necessarily perfect, but it's someone that is present, someone that is there with you. It's not there to solve all the problem, but it is with you. He will never abandon you. He will always remind you how special, how unique, how marvelous you are. And I think that is what when you have a little child that has been traumatized, that has been neglected, he doesn't know that. And that's why you need to be patient, present, but also reminding how, the little girl or the little boy that you have in front of you is a proper miracle. You do like what God does with us, to remind us how important we are for Him. How no matter how many mistakes we do, He's always with us. He thought about us from the first little cell to the last hair, to be a little bit like God, constantly loving these children, with the hope that one day they can discover that they are made by this relationship, and not by the mistakes or the trauma that they have experienced, but they are made by the love that constantly are with them, that can heal the pain. In that sense, it's really helpful when you look at a child, not as a list of rules or a list of right behavior or a list of achievement. That is something that unfortunately in our culture we constantly do. You be a good boy, be a good girl, don't do this, don't do that, Actually looking at a child, literally thinking he's the most marvelous creature that I have, it's the most beautiful gift. It doesn't mean that, it has to do everything wrong, but look at this child, as a proper gift, with the most immense value. Then you can tell him what to do and what not to do. But first, look at him as something, that nobody can reduce. That's it. This child, he will want to behave well because he knows that he has an immense value, and he wants to show that value. But if you forget about this value and you start to say, do this, do that, and the child that is neglected, it can't do that. It can't. His brain, his emotion are not in the right place to follow the rules.
With good behaviour as well as bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely pizza. Wipe them on me. Just wipe them on me. I heard a professor of psychology talking about, I think it's called like the fridge syndrome or something. So when a child comes and shows you a piece of their work, and instead of saying, wow, you've done this great piece of work, sit them on your lap, look at them in the eyes and tell them you love them, and then say, oh wow, this is lovely what you did. So they're not they don't feel the value of that they're valued by what they do, by just like you say, just they are a child of yours, a child of God's. And they're loved.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, if you work and you cook for 6 hours and then your husband said, oh, yeah, that was good. And you think, okay, I worked for 6 hours, maybe something more. It's much better when you wake up in the morning and you have all your hair all over the places, and maybe you've been even snoring during the night, and your husband said, I love you. When you feel more loved, definitely in the morning when you know you're even half a human, and your husband tells you, I love you, and maybe say, I love you, despite you snoring last night.
Lovely Maria. He won't have the face blurred, is that okay, Mummy?
Yeah, no, it's okay for Maria.
I'll do
Do you
it.
mind? Yeah, thank you.
Giovanna, thank you so much for talking with us today. And you're one of the first who we've met that I've never met before, and somebody had introduced you to us, and I'm so privileged to hear. I've cried a lot today.
Me too.
And sometimes there are those episodes where we do cry a lot. Thank you for your generosity and sharing your story. If you're enjoying our channel, please subscribe. It's one of the things that helps. And consider supporting our channel and this work. This is something that's not happening anywhere. I've not seen this, hearing this sort of the grassroots stories. If anybody is enjoying, please do support us, comment on our channel, and for sure, please pray for us. God bless. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, quia quid meruisti portare, alleluia, resurrexit sicut dixit, alleluia, ora pro nobis Deum, alleluia. Veni, Sancti Spiritus.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit.